entrepreneur, jet pilot, peak performance coach, and best-selling author brings you Living Outside the Cube, where great thinkers and doers of our century talk about how to help you be your best. Here is your host, Fabrizio Poli.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Living Outside the Cube. Today, we've got Marie Smith, the super Facebook expert, with us today from sunny San Diego. I'm here in rainy England. Marie, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Oh, it's a joy to be here. Hi, Nancy in the house. Okay, great. Yeah, it's Mari like calamari or rhymes with Ferrari. I know people call me Marie, but it's Mari.
Mari, as in Mari.
Yay!
Perfect. Okay, Mari. So can you tell us a bit about your journey from how you went to become this Facebook book expert? Because this is something that not many people know about. So tell us a story.
Okay. All right. Let me take this camera off because it's not using my external camera. It's using the built-in one. Okay, good. Well, let's see. To my journey to becoming a Facebook book author. Is that what you asked?
Yeah. The Facebook expert. I mean, everybody comes to you because they want to find out how to promote their business on Facebook. And so, like I was at the conference in Manchester a few months ago when we met, and you explained about the new developments of Facebook and that. So let's talk about how you got to where you are today.
Perfect.
And because that's an interesting part of your story.
Yeah, and let me make sure I get your name right too.
Just call me Fab, F-A-B, Fab for short.
I love that. You are Fab. You are Fab. Coolio.
Okay.
All right. Hi, Jerry. Hi. Well, here's the thing, Fab, that I basically throughout my entire career can track back to even when I was probably about 12 years old, began an absolute fascination with computers and technology. And I was coding. I was doing a little bit of coding in a really old computer, a Sinclair or something or other it was called, with those cassette drives that goes in the side of the keyboard. And I also, at the same time, throughout my education and my early career, had a real passion and a fascination for people, for behavior, for these personality assessments that help us to understand ourselves and others better. And so then I got the chance to come to San Diego, California in 1999. And it was just a defining moment in my life. I just knew I was supposed to come here and start a whole new life for myself. And so then...
did you just jump on a plane and go to San Diego, or did you have something to go to?
A great question. I mean, I literally... I didn't have anything to go to. I had one person. The person was kind of a long lost friend. I hadn't seen him about 5 years, and we'd run into each other again in late 98. And then he's just like, Mari, I think you'd really like it in San Diego. Do you want to come over? I think you would, really gel with it. I just knew I like to talk about the difference between a belief and a knowing. Like a belief, a little doubt can kind of creep in your mind and go, "Ooh, you sure you know what you're doing?" And, someone else can put a doubt in there. But I have to tell you that a knowing is just like, it's in every cell of your body. You just know, and nothing can waver you from that knowing. So when I got the invitation, I just knew. I thought, oh my gosh, there's a whole brand new life for myself. And interestingly enough, my story, as I'm on the road right now with Facebook, I'm actually hired by Facebook this year and working directly with them, which is phenomenal. It's just such an honor to work directly with the company. So I've been sharing my story around the country. And interestingly enough, the year prior to getting the invite to come to San Diego in 99, all of 98, I spent many, many months putting together a business plan and creating courses. I wanted to start my own speaking and training business. And, I was getting a small business loan, creating marketing materials, building a website. And this is 98. And it was right then that the invitation came in. And Fab, that definition of when when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
And I had been preparing, little unknown to myself, that I was supposed to start my whole new business and new life in San Diego. So that's where the knowing part kicked in. And so, I had 50 British pounds to my name. I had 2 suitcases. I knew one person. I had to get a return ticket. Obviously, I couldn't come in to the country in the United States with a British passport and a one-way ticket. I had to get a return ticket. So I think it was 30 days. My trip was 30 days. So I had like I gave myself 30 days to figure out, all right, how am I going to get my papers and meet the right people? And it was all just incredible how everything happened. A lot of synchronicities. I met an amazing immigration attorney. I actually bartered him. I built a website for a business that he was developing in exchange for my legal fees. And as I say, the rest is history. But I really feel that what was I going to say? Oh, that I'm sure some people can relate to this. I'm an overnight success, 10 years in the making, because it was 2009. I got onto Facebook in 2007.
Okay.
And I started my own business. See, I'd been an employee. I'd worked for other companies throughout my entire career. And it wasn't until I came to San Diego that I began to build my own business in online marketing and, computers, e-commerce, information marketing, building an email list. And, one of the challenges I faced, I'm sure, again, that people can relate to, is that I found that so long as I was selling my services one-on-one, I was doing a lot of coaching and consulting and some speaking in the early 2000s. I really wanted a way to reach, more people, as I say, instead of one-to-one, or in addition to one-to-one, to do one-to-many. Yeah. And so I began to offer teleseminars and then eventually webinars. So, I've been leading webinars since, about 2002. And I got trained and certified as a relationship coach. And like I say, then everything all culminated when I got onto Facebook in 2007.
So you went in at the early stage of the internet and you kind of grew with the internet as the internet grew. Yeah,
exactly. And it's so funny because, like I say, I can trace it back to my early teens where I just was fascinated by technology. The day that it's interesting, that I told you I had that defining moment when I got the invite to come to San Diego. I had a similar, very defining moment when I first pulled up Facebook.com. I was stopped in my tracks. I thought, wait a second, there's something profound and powerful and magical about this platform. We had at the time they hadn't gotten their first 100 million, but there's something compared to MySpace where I kept going there and trying to work out, okay, is MySpace a business platform, networking? I was on LinkedIn, Academy, Rise.
Quick question here then. Why do you think Facebook made it and MySpace dropped out of the space?
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so there's so many elements, but I would say the number one, they started out with exclusivity. So for 2 years, you could only, from 04 to 06, you could only get a Facebook account if you had a .edu. If you had, you were at a college, you basically had, you were with an educational establishment. Yeah. Also, I believe it was only in the US, right? So then the tremendous exclusivity. It's like a club that you want to join so badly, but you can't join unless you qualify. So that built up over many 2 years, many months of just building up the connections and a younger group of people, in their early 20s, late teens, early 20s. So then they began to open up to networks, and then it was 06 when they already were pretty darn established by the time they opened their doors in 06. Yeah. And the beautiful thing that Mark Zuckerberg and his partners did right out of the gate, different from MySpace, is the uniformity of the profiles. You did not have to go and search for, where does this person live or work? Or it's all beautifully laid out in the exact same place.
A bit like Steve Jobs with the computer.
Yeah, it's simplified because MySpace is you could put all those animations and GIFs and videos and just noise, and it's just all this buzzing, flashing stuff coming at you. And I just found it very challenging to really find what I was looking for in MySpace. Plus, it was always really more designed, maybe more for the musical entertainment industry, celebrities, and it just didn't really have a business element to it necessarily. And then, of course, Facebook maybe didn't either. Hi, Ted Miller in the house. Facebook, one of the things that really struck me, Fab, I think that probably within about 3 weeks, I turned into such an evangelist for the company. Everybody I ran into online and offline, I'm like, are you on Facebook? Yeah, are you on Facebook? Let me show you how. No, you're not. It's like, oh yeah, isn't that thing that's just for college kids? I'm like, no, watch this. You can friend anybody and you can chat with them, and there's no gatekeepers. You don't have to wait to hear back from them by email, because it was almost back in the day, and when AOL, right, we used to get those little alerts. So it'd be like, you've got mail. And then with Facebook, it was like, you've got a friend. And so, I like bookshelves of people who had admired Deepak Chopra and Tony Robbins and Louise Hay, Jack Canfield, and a lot of motivational speakers and inspirational speakers and authors. All of a sudden, internet marketers, they're my friends. They're talking to me. I'm saying, can I interview you? They're responding like this. I'm thinking, I thought this is unprecedented, and I always have believed in Mark Zuckerberg's mission to make the world more open and connected. On a kind of a related tangent about that, Fab, I really do believe that Facebook, in social media in general, but Facebook in particular, being it's the largest, it's most popular and most commonly used, there's an opportunity here for us to step into a greater version of ourselves and a greater version of humanity that it's almost like there's an accountability factor, right? There is an accountability factor. We could say, all right, well, we just share whatever we want on social networks. It's selective transparency. It might look transparent, but it's selective. I'm only going to share the best parts of myself online. But at the same time, there's also some really like raw and real elements of humanity that we're seeing in our feed. It's the loss of a loved one, the birth of a new baby, a celebration, a new job. It's like this beautiful slice of life that we all get to share and enjoy with one another. But as I say, there's that element of raising the bar, both in business and life, that I really enjoy being a part of, and hopefully leading by example, Yeah.
So let's get into today. What's happening with Facebook today? And we've got a lot of business people watching and listening this evening or this afternoon, as it is in California. So tell us a bit about someone that's got a business. How are they going to use Facebook for their business? Because a lot of people think Facebook's just for family and friends, but there's a lot of people on there making money, and quite a considerable amount of money as well. So tell us a bit about what's happening now and what are we going to see in the near future with Facebook? Because you're right there with Mark Zuckerberg, and so you know what's coming next. So if you could share some of that, that would be great.
You bet. So the thing is, because 1.5 billion active users around the world, that's 1 in 7 human beings are on Facebook. We primarily, from a user standpoint, we are on there for personal reasons. We want to connect with friends, family, loved ones, people that we actually know in real life. The good news there is our friend Gary Vaynerchuk, shout out to @GaryV, he's always said that eyeballs are monetizable. And from that standpoint, if you have literally hundreds of millions of people looking at the same place, and that is the newsfeed, the Facebook newsfeed, whether desktop or mobile. About 80% of those active users are accessing Facebook and looking on mobile. So Facebook has been extremely nimble over the years, extremely farsighted in terms of how Mark Zuckerberg has this ability to use that Canadian hockey metaphor to be able to skate where the hockey puck is going, not where it's been, but where he can see it going. And he's basically leading us there. And a huge part of it, of course, is mobile. And so with the massive rise of video, and then just the introduction recently of the Facebook Live feature, which currently is available to verified pages, and it's now just become available to verified profiles. Before long, it will become available to more and more users. Facebook has to phase the rollout or do the rollout in phases, because it just would be too much bandwidth and too much noise in the feed initially, and it's still a little unstable. It works pretty well on Wi-Fi, but there's tremendous uses for these live streaming. Here we are using this app called Blab, and then of course there's Periscope and there's Meerkat. So this opportunity to connect it's unprecedented. And I've said this for years, that there's no amount of sophisticated technology that will take the place of live in-person connecting. Okay. So there's always going to be a place for in-person events. I love networking and traveling and speaking. I just got back from 2 weeks away. I was a week in Boston and a week in Puerto Rico. And it's like, that's wonderful. But then the next best thing is exactly what we're doing here today, this live connecting. So from a business standpoint, businesses to be cutting edge, leading edge right now would do very well to, even if you don't have access to Facebook Live, for example, everybody has access to Blab or Periscope or Vine, and be YouTube, obviously, be thinking about how to use video, recorded video and live video to amplify your platform, your reach, your engagement, and be really building those relationships. One of my main books is The New Relationship Marketing. And to me, social media marketing, inbound, outbound marketing is predominantly relationship marketing, because it's all about building that trust factor and having that knowing, liking, and trusting. So come back full circle to the answer I just started giving you of this question about business use in today's world. The 1.5 billion active users on Facebook, it's on some level we all are also business people. And whether you offer B2C or B2B, on some level, the most powerful feature of Facebook from a business standpoint is the advertising and the granular advertising, which is now available also on Instagram, the exact same granular targeting. It's phenomenal. We've never been able to do this. I mean, Google AdWords, people have mastered PPC over there on Google, but the amount of...
Do you think the whole AdWords thing is gone? Now it's social media.
I wouldn't say it's gone. There's still powerful advantages to having, doing Google ads and also doing good SEO. The good news is that there's many of the social platforms actually help to elevate your SEO. Your Twitter, your tweets are all indexed. Your Facebook page posts are all indexed. And the search on Facebook has a long way to go. Anytime I'm ever looking for anything on Facebook, I actually look for it in Google. It's kind of ironic. But yeah, so the SEO element of doing really good social media, but it's really a conjunction. I'm definitely seeing a shift away from our companies are taking some of their budget from Google PPC and placing it over to Facebook ads, and probably doing a little bit of Twitter, a little bit of LinkedIn, and certainly more people are doing it. More companies are doing Instagram now. And, as I'm doing this tour with Facebook, the Boost Your Business tour, we're coming up to Boston in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah. That basically there's around, anywhere from 700 to 1,000 people are coming to these events. And one of the cool things is I'm actually sitting down and doing a one-on-one, like 3, 4, 5 minute one-on-one with up to 100 people that come to these events. And across the board, some of the things that I'm hearing, number one challenge that all the small businesses have out there, small and medium, is content creation. Well, guess what? That's exactly what you're doing here today, Fab. This is you creating content for your social networks.
I'm just bringing Ted Miller in to join us.
Sweet. Hey, Ted in the house.
Hi, Ted. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Thanks so much for asking. Scott asked a killer question. He was asking about the relevance of live video. I think he's talking about for marketing. Let's go scroll back up, because he said, I assume you're asking to know who are the mentors? No, oh my gosh. On a 0 to 10 scale, how important will live streaming be in the next year? I hallucinated he was directing that to you, Mari, as it relates to Facebook, and I think we've seen some of that recently. So can you speak to that? Because, we love Facebook for those of us that run ads there to hyper target our ideal market. We love that, and I would love to continue using it. I'd love to hear that answer to his question.
Yeah. So I'd say good to see you, first of all, Ted. It's been a while.
Good to see you.
And
yeah. While since I've hugged you. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. We'll have to fix that. Yeah. So I love the question. 0 to 10. Honestly, I'd have to say 10, 10.5 even. It is so important. And so here's the thing. I know almost even as I'm saying that, there are people who are maybe a little camera shy or more introverted, who actually a lot of fear comes up for them at the idea of going live on camera. And I know, like for speaking for my female counterparts, making sure your hair and your makeup and your lighting and your wardrobe and all of that, it can be a challenge. And then thinking about what I'm going to say, and I'm going to be put on the spot. And so honestly, it's one of those things that just comes with practice. I was painfully shy as a child. Painfully shy. I went to a lot of Toastmasters as a teenager. I went to a wonderful organization called Speaking Circles, founded by Lee Glickstein, a beautiful organization. And so just gathering up your confidence, doing it regularly, and just starting somewhere. What we have here, I mean, kudos to you, Fab. I know you just recently discovered Blab, and we were going to do this as a pre-recorded Skype. And then you're like, hey, can we switch to Blab? And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to be camera ready anyway.
I got a call from a friend in Las Vegas about 10, 12 days ago, who actually was the guy that started my own podcast on Podomatic. I was interviewed on his podcast, and then he said, why didn't you do one? And so it started, and then I moved it to YouTube, and then he calls me and says, you got to do this Blab thing. And so here we are this evening.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's how it all starts, right? You got to do this Blab thing. You got to do this.
Well, what we have now is this unprecedented opportunity for anybody literally practically in the world, anybody with access to technology, to create their own show. And have you guys heard of the Streamy Awards? The Streamy Awards, I think they're in their 4th or 5th year now. They're basically like the Emmys or the Oscars for the online celebrity world. So, there's YouTube celebs out there that have millions of fans, and they're not necessarily on TV, but, you start somewhere like this, and who knows if it's part of your vision or dream to get a TV show, this is right where you start. Yeah,
well, there's a lot of young people that have got their own YouTube channel. There's one kid up in Canada. He's 15 years old. He's called Nerf Boy, and he makes $75,000 a month. And he's all he does, he talks about Nerf guns. So now he gets all the Nerf gun companies sending the Nerf guns, and he just plays with his friends, gets it on camera, posts it on YouTube, and he makes money.
That's brilliant. That's a whole new world.
Yeah. We've got somebody else coming in. We've got Hader coming in here.
And as that person is joining, can you give a little plug, Fabrizio, for those that don't know you? Can you tell me a little bit more about what you do?
Interesting enough, my main business is buying and selling aircraft. So now you're probably thinking, what's a guy that sells aircraft doing a talk show on Blab for? But again, I believe that it doesn't matter what business you're in. You have to be connecting with other business people and business minds and learning and progressing and growing all the time. And social media plays a big part of everybody's business life, I think, at least. I mean, a lot of people say to me, you're never going to find high net worth individuals online. That's not true. There's a lot of wealthy clients of mine that actually do have a Facebook account. They do hang out on Facebook. They do have an Instagram account. They are on LinkedIn. And now they're coming to Blab as well. So, I mean, for me to reach out to everybody on Blab and talk with Murray and talk about Facebook and social media and how we can use it for our businesses is important. And so I'm doing this a bit to sort of get out there, but at the same time to sort of give back and learn at the same time. But we're all here this evening learning from each other. And I think that's great. And we're using technology. And I think, as Murray said, this is the future. Live video. I mean, it's great. I mean, I'm over near Manchester, England. Whereabouts are you, Ted?
I'm in Portland, Oregon. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I'm in
Oregon, and then we got San Diego, and we got all the other lovely people. We've got 52 people live here at the moment. I know Matt's here from Sweden. Matt, are you still here? If you want to come in, I know he appeared before. But anyway, let's keep going here with how this whole thing's.
I am.
On one side, we've got all these new social media sites coming online, and on the other, we've got all this new technology, all the new advancements now with the smartphones and that. So, what else do you think, Murray, is going to be coming in the next few months and years, and that, and we really need to sort of be watching for?
Okay, so without doubt, as far as Facebook's concerned, the virtual reality, so
virtual
Oculus
reality,
Rift, and virtual reality.
Okay.
Yeah, VR, also AI, artificial intelligence. And so more and more bots, isn't there, I heard that, I think it's somewhere in Arizona, there's the first ever McDonald's restaurant.
There's also
entirely
a hotel in Japan
by robots.
that's run by robots as well.
And well, actually just in the airport, I'm trying to think which airport. I think it was in San Juan, Puerto Rico airport a couple days ago. We were going through the line, and there's this, it's not a holograph because it was actually a cutout of a female, and her body was like just plastic, but the top part with her moving her arms and her head was all like projected video. And it was kind of creepy because she was life size. It's like almost you could go up and talk to her. And I was like, I haven't been in this McDonald's that has run by robots, but I'm thinking, wow, this is a little far-fetched and definitely down the road a bit. But artificial intelligence, robots, all of that. But let's come back to the virtual reality, because I think with the Oculus Rift, and there's many, many other tech companies coming out with these, you put the big old goggles on, you put the gloves on, and it's this immersive experience as if you are literally in that other world with that, maybe then interacting with other people. From a gaming perspective, it just totally makes sense. But what I love is that Mark Zuckerberg, when sometimes he's talking about the vision around this, coupled with the internet.org, which is bringing internet connection to developing countries. It transforms an entire nation when that happens. So imagine this: you have someone in a remote part of the world, and maybe they can put their Oculus Rift on, their virtual reality goggles on, and visit with their doctor. or visit with a friend, or, get a consult, or do business, or attend a conference, and just so many wonderful things there. I think let's dial it back to more practical, because I think that's kind of, it's coming, that's down the road, might be a little hard for some folks to visualize. One of the things that Facebook is really, really pushing, and aside from video, is prompt customer service. So most people are probably aware that Facebook's encouraging us to respond promptly to private messages, and that you get that very responsive to messages icon if you respond to an average of 90% of your incoming messages within 5 minutes. And anytime I ever tell an audience that, there's this audible gasp, and they're all like, really? How on earth can I possibly keep that up? I have clients and students who have, over 1 million fans, and they're inundated with messages. They've deployed an entire team to look after that customer service. So social customer care, our friends at Social Bakers, socialbakers.com over in Prague and Czech Republic, love their company. They come out with some amazing analytics. And here you are in the UK. Yay, UK. In the United States, as far as Facebook social customer care, that is the amount of responses that companies are, the amount of posts that they're responding to and how fast, we are number 23 out of 24 countries. We're like the worst for social customer care. And on Twitter, I think the number is 33 out of 37 countries. So I'm planting that seed there. I'm very passionate about it. And I put that in some of my talks, and some people might have heard me talk about this before, but it's just so important to be responding promptly to the people who are in front of you. Like, for instance, we've had this kind of drummed into our heads for years, those of us in the social world or using social media. It's like, oh, more. Let's get more likes, more reach. Let's get more fans, more followers, grow. And I'm like, wait a second. How about taking exceptional care of the current audience right in front of you? Deploy more resources for passionate customer care, and really just wowing and wooing and surprise and delight, and really creating that viral word of mouth effect by providing exceptional customer care. And when you do that, quality.
Yeah, I mean, transparency is what the web is giving
that's just
us.
something.
And so, as you're saying, it's a great opportunity for a company to interact directly with their customers, find out what works and what doesn't work in their business, and then make the changes. And if you do look after people, they're going to tell other people, and the word's going to spread. And it's silly. I just can't understand some companies today that just treat people badly. They don't realize that someone can go on Facebook. I mean, we had a friend of ours just yesterday. My wife shows me this thing on Facebook. A friend of ours went to the hairdressers to have her hair done for her son's birthday, and the hairdresser got it wrong and turned her hair pink. So she refused to pay, and the hairdresser said, no, you have to pay. So she ended up paying, got home. Her husband went furious. So she goes on Facebook and she says, don't go to this hairdresser's because he's turned my hair pink. And then she gets all her friends and said, we want to see a photo of your pink hair. But this hairdresser, silly, because now they've got a bad reputation, especially here in the area where we live, because no one's going to go there because they're going to end up having pink hair.
Wow, okay, exactly. That's a great illustration. That's a great illustration of
what I'm going to do now, Mari, I'm going to let some people in here to sort of interact and ask questions. Oh, he's gone. So if anybody wants to come in, there's 2 open seats here. So if you'd like to come in now and interact with us, please do so.
Yeah, quick shout out to Cherry McKenzie too. Yeah, she says, "Can you say cable?" You're absolutely right.
Hi,
Facebook
Roger.
is turning into the largest network. They're larger than ESPN.
Hi, Roger. Where are you from, and where are you broadcasting from this evening? Or this
Los Angeles, California.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Maria from Los Angeles. San Diego. Cool. I was just listening, and
San Diego.
Sometimes I'm like, just keep listening, don't jump in on these things. But then there's so much insight to be had, and I think all of us are trying to build something cool, and we have our own version of what that might be, and we're all trying to figure it out. And the fact that we are in this time right now where it feels like the world is falling apart, but yet all of us can come together and say, here's a new opportunity, and we can work on it and figure it out. And I think it's going to happen in different phases. Like right now we're in the testing phase. Like when the internet, like when AOL first came out, I felt like everybody was just like, is this thing on? Is this thing on? And it's like, say something. A lot of noise. And
right. It's noise. A lot of noise. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do a comedy show, and if you saw my desk right now, I think it needs to live. You know what I mean? This is what it looks like when you're building a certain piece of the vision. And for me, as a filmmaker, I'm excited to share not only what I'm doing, but how I'm doing it. I kind of do.
That's awesome. Did you have a special question today, Roger?
You're a Facebook expert, so I probably should come up with a Facebook question. But I'm having a branding.
Oh, ask anything you want.
So I started a big idea, and let's say the idea can't get any bigger than this frame, right?
Okay.
Well, for reasons, personal reasons, partly I filmed a lot of my own life that maybe you wouldn't want to film. You have to go, okay, I filmed everything, but we're only going to show this, right?
Okay.
So on that level, here I've created a show on Periscope live, straight from my head, and started making it so people could come on that journey. And I call that Coffee Before Bed, right?
Okay.
But in real life, I have this company called Movie in a Box. And I know that you need to put a face onto the business. And I keep sitting here, I'm literally going through all the .com names I own, thinking, do I want to build something in a practice space or with the brand itself and just be like, you know? So that's my question. If you needed to build something in a sandbox, but this is kind of a sandbox, would you use your brand or would you use a proxy brand, so to speak? Does that make sense to anybody?
Good question. Yeah, go.
Yeah, I can speak to that real quick, Fab. So Roger, here's the thing. I do branding work with my clients, and when I get asked quite a lot, especially since social media has become so prevalent over like 8 years now, really, we have a choice to make as to how to represent ourselves out there on the internet. And without question, when it comes obviously to Facebook personal profiles, that has to be in your own personal name. Aside from that, you have a choice of how to really position yourself, to have a brand or have a moniker. Also, fast forward and kind of beginning with the end in mind, if you're building an entity at which at some point you might want to sell, that would be a reason to use a name other than your actual first and last name. You can do both, in fact. But the bottom line is you want to have something that's memorable, it's catchy, that obviously, like you say, you can get the domain for it. But thinking with the end in mind, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, do you have an exit strategy? But at the same time, in parallel, in tandem, you can still be building your own personal platform. Does that make sense?
Yeah, what you said makes sense. It's not really struggling with, I know that I said for personal reasons, it was just, if you filmed your entire life, you might only want to show half of it, right? So here's your whole life, but I'm like, I'm just going to show this piece of it, right? So now you're here. You know, it's, how do I
let me just jump in here, Roger. I think transparency is really, really important here. So if you're going to be putting out a movie about your life, you have to somewhat be connected to that brand in the name or something like that, because effectively it's about you. So you are the brand.
Which I have, which is a good point. And I do have a name for it in a .com, and I've been working on that for 15 years, but I'm not ready to release that yet. So I stepped it in a version and said, hey, what I'm thinking of, the inversion of this is a show called Coffee Before Bed, which is what I created, and I do it on Blab, and it started on Periscope, and it's really the show where we sit back, have a cup of coffee, and kick the tires and say, is this thing really going to float? Yeah. Okay, so that's that. But then on a microcosm, we talk about niches, or niche, you know? If we were going to do a cooking show, we wouldn't be talking out here. We'd be saying it's got to be called whatever chef, and it's got to be you got to see a lot of food flying or a lot of fire, right? And whatever that's going to be. And that's really easy to say, but coffee before bed is a practice in my mind.
Yeah.
But what we really all need to monetize video content is, I think, a culture change. And from people who consume content and understand what it takes to make content, and that if they understood certain things, just like if you understood your cable bill was $200 a month and you're not watching everything, but if you paid for what you just wanted to watch, your bill might be $40, right?
Well, in terms of monetizing video content, that is certainly an area that Facebook is coming up with some incredible units. And just 2 days ago, I'm on my mobile news feed and I saw a new way to consume video. So when you go to play that video in your mobile news feed, it pops out. There's a little square icon in top right now. It's brand new. You can tap that and the video pops out, and then it can be moved, dragged and dropped, and float around the screen and still play audio and video while you're scrolling through your news feed. It's literally like picture in picture. And I was just like, oh my gosh, look at this. Look at how exciting. Another new video feature. And then my marketing and advertising mind went, oh, how cool. This will be another way for ads.
Okay, Roger, sorry if I have to kick you out, but we've got other people here that want to ask questions, and I believe we've only got another 10, 15 minutes with Mari here. So I need to let you go, Roger, and I need to bring in somebody else. Thank you anyway. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks, Roger.
Okay, Walter. So, yeah, hi, how are you doing? What's your first name?
My name is Walter. That's for
Hi, Walter.
Kingdom, yeah. Hi, Mari. I just, I know you from Facebook. And I just wanted to say something. I've seen a lot of people very frustrated with social media in general because they don't see results. But I just thought maybe what you thought of this concept that an artist spends years learning how to use the basics, but then only really creates something worthwhile or better art after they get those basics and learns how to take off with it. So I think that social media, like anything else, is a tool that, like I'm learning Photoshop or someone else is learning some other tool to work with art. And after you get the basics, then you really have to keep on working and working more before you can get some really decent results. And I want to know what you thought of that.
Well, okay, so I think I understand what you're saying, Walter. And the thing is that if we think of all social media, including this blab is an element of social media for sure, and all the different main channels, they are amplifiers. They're means through which we can connect with others, right? Certainly, we can build these relationships. We can expand our platform. Nonetheless, when it all boils down to the end of the day, every time you have a chance to be out there in a variety of forums, in various forms, it's turning up the volume, if you will, on what it is that you do. So it really comes back, and I see this all the time with my clients and students around the world, is that we had a question earlier about branding and positioning and about really having a rock solid business model, having good landing pages, building an email list, using these social channels to gather email addresses, and then absolutely having a really solid email marketing, as it's called, sometimes called drip campaign, follow-ups, and just being able to actually monetize all of this, all of your efforts. Hands down, without a doubt, when people come to me and say, Mari, I tried Facebook ads, met somebody recently said they'd spent $10,000 on Facebook ads and barely got much results. And I'm like, I would love to kind of point the finger, go, oh my gosh, Facebook's like really, taking you for a run. It's not the case. It's unfortunately, I have to say that it's user error, and that's meant with all due respect, because the bottom line is it comes down to education. So having a really solid business model, making sure that you get as much education as possible, and that is ongoing because of the fact that Facebook changes so much, and really making sure that when you are out and about, you're representing yourself very well, and that you are understanding how the ad products work. So that's what I recommend. I actually have a membership program. It's called the Inner Circle. You can find that on my website, and it's just a fabulous way. Oh, I see Saz is in the house.
I don't disagree with you there, but I think that even beyond learning,
but in any case,
getting educated, to use these tools, like if you were to go on Photoshop, maybe you can do some basic things, but I've spent many hours on Photoshop. So I think that there are things that I could do that if I just went on in the beginning, I couldn't do.
Yeah, but I think Mari's right. It's key is education. I mean, if you go on Facebook, you do the ads, and you spend $10,000, you get no results. You've done something wrong. There's probably some information there that's missing.
I'm not saying that I didn't.
Yeah.
I did that happen with me. I'm just saying that there are people that are frustrated with it, but there's besides the education that first you need some kind of time to get results to make your relationships, whatever it is.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, and
okay, Walter.
Yes, you do.
Sorry if
Yes,
I kicked you out, but I've
right.
got.
Okay,
yeah,
bye-bye.
You're right.
Thank you for your question. Thank you, Walter. Catherine, how are you?
Hi, guys. I'm great. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep. A little bit. You need to pump your volume up a little bit.
A little bit. I'm really honored to.
Where are you connecting to us? Where are you talking to us from, Catherine?
I'm in Vancouver, BC, Canada.
Oh, I was there a couple of months ago.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Vancouver!
Really honored to be on here with you, Mari. I love this about Blab. It's so easy to connect with people, and I do some coaching and people humming and hawing about Blab, and I'm like, it is the best thing that ever happened. Don't hum and haw. Get your headset on and go. Anyways, so my question for you, and we've touched on a bit of this, and I wasn't expecting to jump on Blab. So speaking of transparency, I didn't move anything in my home office. There's my daughter's drawings, and pardon the mess. I didn't know I was doing this. But we've touched on this a little bit. But I'm wondering if you can just give me a little bit of ideas. So I've worked as a social media marketer for 2 years, growing other people's businesses. And I've recently started working with a company that sells the best liquid collagen product, and it's multi-level marketing. And so I'm now positioning myself as a social media trainer in that industry, particularly for the team that I'm working with. How do I put a brand together that is my collagen product, which I want to use, obviously, the internet to market, but also my social media skills? So I'm sort of a little bit stuck in between the two brands.
So you wanting to offer social,
Yes,
social media training services to people in the same industry?
Product. So I can do them as separate brands, but it's all me. So
okay, can I just say something before you go in, Marie? I had Ben Woodward on Living Outside the Cube podcast just the other week. He's the president of Nikken, which is a network marketing company, and he was just saying that there has to be a paradigm shift now in the network marketing industry, where network marketers need to start to embrace social media and use social media. Instead of writing the famous list of their friends and family, knocking on the door and trying to go through the list. No, just do it differently. So, Mari, over to you.
The opportunity that I've seen, because I've done the social media marketing, and I've just spent 20 minutes on a conversation with somebody saying, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I'm saying, I'm getting that figured out. We'll have another conversation in a month. But how do I brand myself as the collagen person and social media expert?
Okay. So honestly, Catherine, what I would absolutely do two brands, because it's going to be too confusing to actually offer your collagen product and your social media services under the same brand and social channels. So I would have two Facebook accounts or two Facebook pages. I work with a lot of network marketing companies, Beachbody, Isogenics, Young Living Oils, a lot of direct sales companies, and they do extremely well with social networking and social media marketing. And it really is all about the relationships. And one of the things and I like to your point, Fab, about the paradigm shift, one of the ways to think about it is that you want to establish yourself, Catherine, really as a thought leader, as a leader and as a go-to person, that you have social media knowledge for, let's say, the beauty industry or that particular company or product. And so that people have a challenge or, marketing issue that they would come to you. So the kind of content that you were going to be sharing is a combination of your own and what I call OPC, other people's content, so that you become known over time as that you are this person. Oh my gosh, I'm working in this network marketing company or this, a beauty product, and I want to get help from you for my social media marketing. This is where we're going, folks. And I see a lot of my friends here in the social media industry, Nancy and Hugh and many others here, Sandra, and the fact is that people want to work with specialists. So when you have industry knowledge, like one of my students is, she worked for one of the San Diego top cosmetic surgeons, plastic surgeons. So then she took one of my trainings years ago. Shout out to Monique Ramsey. And then she specializes in social media for cosmetic surgeons. And that's her brand. And it's perfect. It's awesome. And you can do the exact same. But as for building your downline, building your group for the collagen product,
there, Catherine, I used to be in network marketing back 20 years ago. I built a very big network selling a weight loss product, and I was making about $10,000 a month back in my early 20s. And I remember they always used to say there were 4 things to the business. There was the product, there was a company, there was the marketing plan, and then there was you. So when you're out there, what's differentiating you from all the other distributors? As Mari was saying, you have to be the expert. You have to be the one that's offering the best training, because it's not like it used to be where you would go to family and friends. Now you're out there on social media. People are going to be looking at your particular company and products, and they're going to be looking at 10 different distributors and say, who's going to sponsor me? And so you've got to be the person that's producing the best content and the best training, because they're going to get the best support from you and not from somebody else. So I'd really concentrate on that.
Thank you. And how can we not with Blab? It's so easy.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, right? Catherine, I've got to knock you out now because I've got to bring someone else. I've got Chris here standing by. But thank you very much for stopping by. Take care and good luck with everything.
Great to hear you.
Okay, Chris. Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. You guys are making my day today. I've been in bed with pneumonia. So, hey, first pneumonia Blab ever. This is making history here, okay?
Oh.
Not bad for pneumnia.
So, Chris, where are you talking to us from?
Chris, you look pretty good.
Dallas, Texas. So howdy,
Dallas,
folks.
great place. I learned to fly in Dallas.
Oh, it's great. So
what memories there?
My question for you, I've been doing video since 1989 in television. Did that from 89 to 2007 as a sportscaster, and got into social media. This new video is changing, even for an old guy like me that's been in for 25 years. It's amazing to me how much video is changing. And I'm even having to adapt all the time, learning this. I did Google Hangouts. I do Instagram videos, Vine, now Blab. And my question to you is, Mari, is where is this all going? Where do you see this going? I mean, is it just going to be even more and more outlets in the future?
Well, it's interesting because honestly, if Facebook tomorrow introduced Facebook Live to all users, and then also, oh, by the way, we have a chat feature, and you can have 10 people to do a group chat.
No, I do not. And I'm kind of surprised that Facebook has taken a while. Or maybe they're waiting for something. I don't know.
Right. Or maybe they'll buy Blab. For $1 million. Yeah.
I think. Exactly. So the thing is, as human beings, here's a fascinating thing. My answer to your question, real simple here, Chris, is that, technology has accelerated dramatically in the last 10 years. Yeah. Human beings, on the other hand, we're taking a while to catch up. Fundamentally, we're still, we're emotional. We all want pretty much around the world some of the same things, to be happy, to be liked, to be accepted, to belong, to matter, to be successful, to have a good life. And so ultimately there's only so many things that can take our attention, whether it's online or offline. And the bottom line is that we have to decide what kind of quality of life do we want? A good friend of mine, Jeremiah Aoyang, I love following him on Facebook, and he's just a real brilliant futurist. He talks a lot about the collaboration economy, and he's really fascinating. And the other week there, he was publishing about how he had removed all of his social apps and his email from his mobile phone so he could take a week vacation in Hawaii with his family, completely and utterly off the grid. And I think we'll actually see more of that because we're longing to have more quality time, or what I call JOMO, is the joy of missing out, not the FOMO, fear of missing out, the joy of being offline. Hopefully over time, where all this is going is that, yes, we're amplifying and accelerating our relationship, hopefully at the same time, our relationship skills through online and offline. But ultimately, we're helping
thank
to
y'all.
elevate
I want to respect the seat. I probably want to go to sleep.
Through technology.
But my last thing is storytelling is key, no matter the platform.
Great quote. Great, Chris. Thank you. And let's hope you recover soon. See you on Blab
again.
It is. Bye.
Totally.
Okay, so we got Scott. How are you doing, Scott? We can't hear you, Scott. You got your audio sorted? No, we can't hear you. We got Baddy here. Hi, Baddy. How you doing?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Scott, I'm going to have to kick you out and bring somebody else in. Sorry about this, but we've got a long queue here of people. Okay, catch you later.
Good.
Okay, go ahead, Baddy. How you doing?
So, I have a Facebook-specific question for Mari. Yeah. Is it Mari, right?
Yeah, Baddy, first of all, where are you speaking to us from?
I'm from Charleston, South Carolina.
Yes,
okay,
perfect.
Great. Go ahead.
So I've been, doing Twitter a lot lately, and it's kind of like you can interact with people, and that seems to work to get more followers, but I'm having a problem with my Facebook page. It's like, I almost feel like there's no way to kind of interact. And so people like the page, I'd like to be like, hey, thanks for liking the page. Like what can I do to interact with those people that are liking my page? It's Body.
Yeah, good question here, Body. Is it Body? Is that how you say your name? Body. Facebook really is kind of a different approach because first of all, you're going to want to have at least some budget to amplify your posts through boosting or the promoted posts through the ads manager, and depending on how many fans you have, you're going to reach a kind of a critical tipping point. I usually say between 500 and 1,000. If you have in there or more, then you should be able to see some traction with a little bit of budget, even, $10 to $50 a week, if that's affordable to you, maybe more if you're obviously getting good ROI. But it all comes with a bigger, more comprehensive, integrated approach and strategy. We can't just, throw some money at Facebook and hope that that's going to work. It has to come with, as Chris said just before, about storytelling, about really excellent content that isn't pushy and salesy, that gets people to engage with you, and then you drive them to your blog, and then you create what are called website custom audiences, and that's with a little pixel on your website, and then Facebook will go through the Facebook login and cookie tracking, etc. Will give you now a select list. You don't see that
I only have about 300
right, but it's the custom
right now.
audience. So I don't know if you've done
I am doing about $10 a day, and I've gotten a pretty good, really effective. I feel like it's like 20 cents per like. I feel like that's pretty good.
Awesome.
I'm trying to figure out how
really
to do
good.
the lookalike.
Have you done any lookalike as well? You might want to do a
right
lookalike
now,
audience.
And ones that are pretty much like mine, I use their audience.
Yeah. Well, lookalike was you upload your own email list or the custom audience from your website pixel. So the people that you're tracking over there, and then Facebook goes out and collects a whole new audience, and that can be really large, sometimes in the millions.
Okay.
And so then you want to dial that back
sure.
and target about.
I've got to kick you out. I've got to bring someone else in. But anyway, thank you for the question. Great question. Good luck with your business. Speak again soon. Thank you. Okay, we got Michael. Michael, how are you doing?
Yeah. Sounds like.
Oh, what's happened? No audio. Michael, we can't hear you. We got Nancy. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Fabrizio. How are you?
Yeah, good. Sorry, Michael. I have to kick you out here. We can't hear your audio. I've got to bring Nancy in. But anyway, you can write your question down on the feed here. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Nancy. How are you doing, and where are you speaking to us from?
Hi, I am doing great. Thank you. And I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, great. So what question do you have for us?
Well, I just wanted to say hi to Mari. I love you to pieces. And thank you. And I just wanted to comment in a second, but I just wanted to tell anybody who's in the chat that if I had an opportunity to study with Mari back in 2009 when she first, at least when I first became aware of her offering courses. And it was what I look back on as a jump start into everything that I'm doing now. And if anybody that's in this blab has a chance to do that with any of her courses, I would recommend that you run, not walk, to do so, because she's you're a wonderful mentor and you're a great instructor. And have a heart as huge as Montana, I usually like to say. So that's me and how I feel about you. And I wanted to know if you would speak to, and I've seen some of the questions that have come in the people who have entered the room, where they've, especially the woman, I don't remember her name, I'm sorry, who talked about her MLM business, and you recommended for her to have separate identities. And I know this is the way I feel, but I think you will put it more eloquently about the need for people to declare what it is they do. And and that revolves around so many people actually, for instance, I work with lawyers and professionals. And if I don't tell people that, they're not going to know. And so what do you think of the importance of making sure people get out there and talking about what they do and not waiting for people to figure it out about them?
I think that's critical, Nancy, and it's a really good, excellent point. And one of the things, for example, that I get asked a lot is, and particularly from female business leaders, is they want to do more speaking engagements. They want to really position themselves as a speaker on their subject matter. And I'll go and I'll look at their Twitter, their Facebook, and I'm like, you don't have speaker in your bio or on LinkedIn and I'm saying, okay, so we got to absolutely, like you said, name it and claim it, declare. Every bio has to have the word speaker in it. You want to actually have testimonials, endorsements, a speaker reel, clips of you speaking, pictures of you speaking. And then there's really elegant ways, if you will, or what's the word I'm looking for, like using proper social etiquette to talk about upcoming events. So you'll be saying something like, oh, I'm so honored to speak at such and such event, or I'm really looking forward to blah, blah, blah. And so, for example, like last week here, I was in Puerto Rico, and it was a wonderful, there were luxury wedding planners or wedding planners for luxury, high-end celebrity weddings, special events, phenomenal event. And so I could have just said, now most people do know, most people in my community but there's always new people that maybe don't, they're just new to following me or something. And so I specifically would put, I'm so honored to teach Facebook and Instagram marketing at this luxury event. And so then it's really clear. People, I don't teach LinkedIn marketing. I don't teach Google
about
Plus.
the difference between LinkedIn
video
and
creation
Facebook,
or whatever the case might be. Yeah, LinkedIn versus Facebook. What's your opinion? Hi, Get Mike speaking. Mike, I mean, honestly, there is an absolute place for both. LinkedIn is the B2B place, and for many people, that's their
that's where I do
first
number
one choice of where to connect. Certainly on a professional level, but. Yeah. And I'm being a bit of a laggard when it comes to LinkedIn. I have a tremendous profile there. It's been beautifully optimized. I have a lot of contacts. I don't really have my content strategy really solidified on LinkedIn, but we're working on that with my team and myself. But we have recently uncovered some incredible opportunities because of connecting with people on LinkedIn. However, Facebook, it's not one or the other. It has to be both and, because Facebook's 1.5 billion active users, and they kind of laser targeting.
Nancy, you got any other questions?
It's incredible.
I don't.
Okay, thank you very much, Nancy. Okay, Murray, how long have you got for us here?
Yeah. Thanks, Nancy.
3 minutes. Okay, 3 more minutes. Okay, guys, is there anybody else wants to jump in the seat?
3 more minutes.
Question? We've got 3 more minutes here. Here we go. We got Marissa. Here comes Marissa. Marissa, hi. Here she comes. And
Can you guys hear me?
Wayne. Hi, Marissa. Where are you talking to us from?
I am in Dallas, Texas.
Another Dallas. Great.
Another Dallas. Mary,
Okay.
I have been following you for eons, and it is so great to see you on Blab. I am so excited to see you here. So I have a question. I've been doing social media for 12 plus years now, and there is most of the people that I work with are up and coming entrepreneurs, small businesses, they really don't have an entire marketing budget, right? They don't have somebody that's going to be able to create this big team that's going to run their social media for them. And there's a lot of conversation in our space about, okay, well, if you're connecting with your fans in Twitter, you need to connect differently than you connect with your fans in Facebook.
Can we hold on one quick second?
Sure.
Hold.
Yeah.
Oh, there. Thanks, Fab. Okay, we're good. We're good. I heard a lot of interference. It was hard to hear.
Anyway,
We're good now.
so
Thanks, Fab.
I'm hearing
okay,
a lot of noise
ahead.
about how you're supposed to connect differently and your message is supposed to be different based on where your audience is. And I understand that if you have a team on board that's able to deliver that for you. But if you're a solopreneur and you are doing this on your own and you are trying to manage your own business and run your social media, what are some tips that these groups can use, these people can use to really maximize their time in social without feeling like they spend all their time in social and they have no time to run their business? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, perfect question.
I can't hear
it does,
you.
Marissa. It really does. So I'm going to give two pieces of advice here, and this is a
I can hear you. Fine.
Oh, can you hear me? Testing 1, 2. Yeah. Okay. So two pieces of advice. This is a fairly popular question that people in my community ask as well, and it's basically, and it's so great to meet you virtually, by the way, and yeah. So number one, most important aspect that is feasible and possible and should be delegated is content creation, but certainly content curation. So I have an online content manager who's been with me. Actually, I've had that role filled for probably about 3 years. Previous to that, I was spending up to 2 hours a day sourcing my own content before there was like good curation tools. And because I was so particular about the content that I share, I still am. I'm very choosy, very selective about whose content I put in my newsletter, on Facebook, on Twitter, anywhere else. And so, but that is a system I created that you can train someone on your team to help you, even literally an hour a day or, a few hours a week, that one element, because then now it all starts with content. You've got consistent content going out. The second piece of advice is to educate your clients in understanding that something the comedian, Chris Hardwick, many, many years ago, he and I were speaking at a Twitter conference, and he's at Nerdist on Twitter. And he said, Twitter isn't something that you sit down and do. Okay, I got 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I'm going to do Twitter now. He's like, you grout your day with Twitter. It's like a minute here, 2 minutes there, 3 minutes here. And then before you know it, like you're waiting in line or between calls and you've responded to a few people, you've liked a few comments, you've interacted, and it adds up. So if that's, helpful, then
cool.
I recommend
Thank you.
Talk to clients about that.
Okay,
approach.
Great. Thank you very much. I think we've got to wrap up.
See you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
You've got to go, correct?
You too.
Yep.
I got to go. It's 2:01 and I got other appointments lined up. And so it's a joy to spend a whole hour with you. Thank you for reaching out. I love that we met in person. This is a beautiful testament to the power of meeting people in person, because I get asked all the time, to do interviews and to do, blabs. My friend Mike Stelzner has been bugging me. Come on, Mari. And so I gotta do more blabs. But one of the
Mari,
reasons
thank you very much for being on the show.
Certainly,
everybody that's watching and listening, this will be broadcast on YouTube in the next few days as we put it all together in that, and also on Podomatic. So just watch this space. But thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your insights. It's been great for everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.